On April 1st, 2014, two young Dutch students, Kremers and Lisanne Froon, set off for a simple day hike on the Pianista trail in Panama. They were wearing shorts, tank tops, and smiles. They expected to be back by dinner. They never returned. Weeks later, search teams found nothing. But 10 weeks into the investigation, a local villager found Lisanne's blue backpack tangled in a riverbank. Inside, completely undamaged, was a digital camera, and what was on the memory card turned a standard missing persons case into one of the most haunting mysteries on the internet. 90 photos. 90 photos. Taken in total darkness in the dead of night between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. A plastic bag on a stick, a mirror reflecting nothing, a single terrifying close-up of the back of Chris's head. Who took these photos? Were they a desperate cry for rescue? Or were they digital breadcrumbs left for someone else? Let's look at the timeline. To understand what happened to Kris and Lisanne, investigators had to look at logs of their cell phones. What they found was a calculated, desperate struggle for survival. The girls reached the summit of the trail around 1 p.m., but just a few hours later, at 4:39 p.m., the first distress call was made from Chris's phone to 112. 112 is the European emergency number. Just 12 minutes later, Lisanne's Samsung tried dialing 911. Neither call went through. There was absolutely no signal. Realizing they were in trouble, the girls did something incredibly smart. They turned their phones off to ration the battery. For the next few days, a strict pattern emerged. Every morning and afternoon, the phones were clicked on for just a few seconds to scan for a signal, and then completely shut back down. On April 2nd, a massive 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck Panama. Deep in the jungle surrounded by shifting terrain, the girls kept trying to reach the outside world. Then, on April 5th, the behavior changed completely. Suddenly, Chris's iPhone was turned on, but whoever was holding it didn't enter the correct PIN. For the next 3 days, the phone was activated multiple times without ever successfully unlocking. Had Kris become too weak or injured to remember her code? Was Lisanne desperately trying to access her friend's phone in the dark? Or was someone else entirely holding the device, trying to break in? By April 11th, both phone batteries were entirely dead, but the most terrifying piece of evidence was yet to come. Of all the clues left behind in the Panamanian jungle, nothing compares to what happened in the early morning hours of April 8th. Between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., Lisanne's camera was turned on. Over the course of 3 hours, the camera took 93 consecutive photos using the flash. Almost all of them were taken in pitch darkness. But a few images revealed desperate details. One showed a steep ravine, another showed twigs and a plastic bag sitting on a rock, and then there was the photo of Chris's hair. It was dry, clean, and showed no obvious signs of struggle. Was one of the girls using the camera's flash as a makeshift flashlight or as signals? Months later, the discovery of scattered bone fragments of Lisanne's boots only deepened the divide between investigators. To this day, the case remains split into two fiercely debated theories. The first is the accident theory. Proponents believe the girls wandered off the trail, fell down a steep ravine into a river canyon, and succumbed to injury and dehydration. They argue the night photos were a desperate, final attempt to signal for help. The second is foul play. Skeptics point to the unlocked phones, the pristine condition of the backpack found months later, and the eerie nature of the night photos as evidence that the girls were handled by a third party. What do you think happened to Kris and Lisanne deep in the Panamanian jungle? Leave your theories in the comments below.